All right, cool. So the three of you head to the Galleon of the Knoll, and after an amount of time passes, you get there, and you probably notice very trailing signs of some people, like kind of maybe there's a couple of individuals that are like kind of like moving through the streets and kind of like looking over their shoulders back at the religious district, and like hushed whispers, I think, as you pass through some of the streets. The panic hasn't spread to this particularly this far yet, but there's definitely like there's signs that something is going on, something is out of the ordinary. So you arrive at the Galleon in the Knoll, and I'll let you know, Jackson. You arrive at the Galleon in the Knoll, and Farron, where are you? Because you would have gotten there much farther before them.
No, my beer.
I'd probably be waiting right at the door, looking out for them.
Okay, so like on the outside of the building?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you guys see him like a little ways off, and you see him like scanning the crowd. Like, are you like, do you have like your hood pulled up, or like, are you in any sort of stance that may show that you're on edge?
Yeah, I probably would have put my cloak hood up.
Yeah, essentially I'm asking, like, would it be something maybe a little bit out of the ordinary for Farron, who's very boisterous and very, like, kind of upfront and colorful and, likes to be the center of things, but this is a much more reserved Farron.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, I think the three of you, as you approach, notice this, and you all link up, and what do?
Something seems to have gotten wrong. Yeah. Farron.
Where are the others?
Aye, it kind of turns into a shitstorm.
How bad of a shitstorm?
Well, so, we went to the church to get myself all fixed up. Well,
yes, you're looking much less perforated.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I'm not seeing the pus anymore.
But, Chester, after seeing that I used the borrowed funds from Vi and himself,
You borrowed money from them?
Well, I'd say they left it on loan with me, but
I'm sorry. Can you go back to that last part? What about the funds that you borrowed?
Can we go back to
us?
part where city is on fire?
Yes, I'll get some money later, Vi. Chester decided that he, whilst in Rome, why not steal all of the church's treasure? So
that is not how that proverb goes. Reasonably certain.
Yeah.
He tried to steal from the church.
Aye, he did, and me and Hannibal, we tried to go in after him, but we couldn't find him. He was hiding in the shadows too well, and we had to leave because the guards were coming down the stairs. So we had to leave, and we can only assume that he's in their custody.
Well, he has to be somewhere deep in the church where you were, because my magic does not work there. I tried to get his attention and it didn't work, so we have a big problem.
Aye. Well, Hannibal's still around that area. He's said he could see what was going on in there. So we left him to try and continue with that.
I see.
I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew, so...
Yes, thank you, Farron.
So
and you can see that there's a very annoyed look on Morella's face now.
I feel like you have failed to grasp essence of buddy system.
Yes,
Well-
Farron has.
This was hardly the time that we had to
I stuck with
stay
my buddy
together.
Chester.
Also questionable choice, but I can't disagree.
Had to split up.
I think Petrov reaches up and puts sort of just a comradely hand on Vi's arm, which is probably all he can reach, and says, "It's all right. We will get you a new one."
Vi slaps him across the face.
You just get backhanded.
Technically, this is treason, but I will overlook. Not treason, diplomatic incident.
Yes. That's great. Right, so the group of you, are you going to head to the scene of the almost crime?
I think we better go
Immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would lead them to where Hannibal last was.
All right, cool. So I think for most of you, you don't have any health to gain back, but it'll probably be about an hour and nothing will occur. So for those of you that want to use a short rest, so if you have hit dice left, Farron, you can totally use them to start regaining your...
Yes.
Wrong character, Jackson.
No, Hannibal's bored.
Oh, still wrong character.
And I won't be doing Song of Rest because I'm still very on edge.
Sure, cool. And you regain anything you would get normally from a long rest or a short rest. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you make it over there. Hannibal, what have you been doing for the past hour besides like meditating? Because you can you can do things, right? As long as you don't like cast spells or fight or anything like that.
So could I have been walking around?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that's like any non-strenuous activity or something that doesn't use any resources. Yeah, you can.
I
Totally
would like to be walking around the place trying to reestablish a connection with Buck.
Yeah, I think that you... Would you do anything else in the hour? Because you would find out very quickly that you're unable to.
Trying to think real quick.
Because, like, I'm assuming, like, when she doesn't respond, you just try and, like, use your sight again, right?
You know what? No. You know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to dismiss Puck. Then I'm going to resummon her back near me.
Okay. Do you have the brazier on you?
No, I don't need to do that. I can temporarily dismiss her.
Okay. Let's just read how that works. I'm not sure if you can actually do that.
As an action, you can temporarily dismiss your familiar. It disappears into a pocket dimension where it awaits your summon. As an action, while it's temporarily dismissed, you can cause it to reappear in any unoccupied space within 30 feet of you.
Okay. I think that's a good thing to do. You dismiss, and then you're going to attempt to bring her back, right?
Yes.
I don't think she appears.
Rest in peace, Puck.
Fuck. Yeah, so I'm gonna be waiting there for everybody else.
Yeah, so I think that like maybe like right as you do that, you're like, come on, let's go. Puck up here. You're like trying different ways to say whatever phrase, whatever verbal component you would typically have, or somatic component or whatever. And
Come back to me, Sesame!
right, yeah. And the rest of the group shows up and sees you. You're like standing like maybe like a few hundred feet away from the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're just standing there, and the group shows up and makes contact with you.
Hey, so, I say to Farron and Morella, Puck's dead.
How can a
Morella just simply
dead child
nods.
be dead?
Because Ghost can die, duh. Then I wink at Morella. Ghost can die, right, Morella? Because that's
She
what Puck
simply
is.
smiles and nods. She's like, yes, it is unfortunate that Puck has
She has
proceeded
moved.
into the ever afterlife once more.
Vi
we
looks
have
over
more
at Petrov very confused.
Yeah,
Like, what the actual
I was
is going on right now?
I was just gonna say.
May that child's soul rest in peace.
Yes. Anyways, we have more pressing matters at the moment, unfortunately.
Oh, good
Chester
segue.
is still missing. Where is he?
He's in the church and he's pretty deep down. I can probably get us. I probably get me and Morella the only ones that really need to get there. I could probably get me and Morella down to around where he disappeared.
I am sorry, you wish to take Lady Fairheart into crime scene to recover unsuccessful thief, yes? This
Yes.
is your plan?
That is my plan. You got a problem with it?
It is terrible plan.
Oh, come up with one better.
Take literally anybody else.
I
Fine.
think as you
Vi
say that,
seems motivated.
yeah, you look
Come
over
with me.
and you see Vi, and she all of a sudden looks kind of like a Lady of Sigmar, like a real one.
Right,
All
you
right,
look like
fine.
an acolyte.
Fine. We and you can go. I could take you down there.
Wait, I doubt they would have kept him light at the vault chambers.
They didn't. They brought him down further. But would I have known which way they had gone?
So what you saw before losing contact was they were like walking down the hallway, like towards the up staircase. But there's many paths that go kind of left or right between where you saw and where they were leading him.
Mm-hmm. So what I'll do is that can I teleport us into like one of the rooms that has some of those acolyte clothes?
In the cloister, sure, like the upstairs area where all the acolytes like live and stuff.
Yeah, I would like to.
You could do that. I will remind you though, this place is an anthill that has been kicked over. So there is a good chance you just teleport on top of someone.
I have a backup. I have a way to.
Sure.
All right, so I basically. So Vi, do you want to go?
Want to is really not the term I would use, but this is what's happening, so...
Just
Alright.
try not to kill anyone else.
All right, let's fucking do this. And then I grab Vi's shoulder and I teleport us into one of the rooms.
I think
The
Farron...
moment they're gone, Petrov turns to Farron. What do you mean? What do you mean anybody else?
Right, yeah, and I think that's the perfect scene to jump down to Chester. Where Chester, you were led and you got led like towards the staircase, and then you got led to the left a little bit and down a hallway, and then a couple of the branching like hallways to and fro, and eventually you get to like a large room. That's it's probably like actually I shouldn't even say it's not a room. You don't enter any doors or anything, but you walk out and the expanse kind of opens up, and it looks like you may be in like. There's no like sewage system, right? Like that doesn't exist, but there is like this large dome that looks like it has some natural light coming from like what is probably like one of the roads or something. It is like a grate up at the top, and it's a dome, and you can see the light shines down on this altar that is in the middle of the room, and the room is almost completely bare, except for when you walk in, you feel like this sense of like. Almost like if you'd been like doused in like cool water, but you're not wet. And as you enter through the room, so you shiver a bit, and you can see that there's quite a few people in here, and it looks like if you were an actual acolyte, you would know exactly what this place is. But as Chester, you do not, obviously. And so yeah, so you walk in and you're walked to like one of the edges where there's like some benches set up along like the edges of the wall, and one of the knights looks at you and he says, "Sit right here. We'll stand guard. You have nothing to fear. The thieves will not get to you."
Oh, thank you so much. I need to take a second.
Sure, yeah, you sit down, and they stand like one in front of you and then one on either side of you. And maybe like 10-15 minutes passes, and you like slap the side of your neck because like you felt like something bites you, but you miss, and something bites you again, you slap the side of your neck, and then you hear a voice that's very, very low, very high-pitched. And it says, "Hey!"
I get up and I walk towards the guards and I talk to them. I say, I don't feel safe down here. I think there's something in here with us.
And he like looks around. He's like, "Don't worry." And you can see too, like what he's saying. Like when he points this out, he's like, "The clerics are entering now. It should only take a few moments, and they'll be set up, and they'll be ready."
Oh, thank you. Please, I hope they hurry.
So you go and you sit back down, and again, like you feel like a little tugging, like maybe like one of your hairs. It says, "Hey, I'm with Hannibal."
Chester doesn't answer. He just shakes his head and is like, "I hope this is gone."
Sure. And the voice, which we know as Puck, right, says, "I can't contact him anymore. I think they put the barrier back up."
It's probably what that real strong guy did. Probably.
I think one of the guards like turns and looks at you, and he's like, he like looks at you like you're because you're like mumbling to yourself, right? And he's like, he kind of turns back around and like, "Okay, crazy guy," and continues his post.
I see him do this, and I say, "I'm sorry. I'm just praying to myself."
I think I think he nods and like turns back around and leaves you in peace. And I think she's like, "Well, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I don't like it. It's cold in here."
Yeah, I like it cold. It's nice.
She's like, "Well, what do we do? Do you have a plan?"
Chester looks up to the like grate with the light, and he's like, "Puck, why don't you just go out up there?"
She goes, I tried. It's the barrier. It won't let me."
Then just go break it again.
She kind of like looks and she's like, "How?"
Break the runes. There's 4 of them. Just break one.
So she's like, "Okay, I'll go try." And you don't hear her or see her depart, but yeah, you don't hear the voice again.
I'm like, thank God. Thank you, Sigmar.
Right. So you see
My
the clerics.
pain.
Yeah, right, exactly. You see the clerics come in, and they begin like setting up like these incenses and stuff. And one of them walks over to the guard, and they look like around the guard at you, and they go, "This is the witness." And the guard nods, and he's like, "Very well. We'll bring him over here. Come, my child. We will be able to gather much more information on what these individuals look like. Just come with me."
Oh, you fuck.
So you get up and you walk over, and you can see they have like this circle of like incense set up, and it's like kind of a little bit smoky, and you can see the smoke like rising to the ceiling and going out the grate a little bit. And the cleric there, he begins explaining to you, or the priest, I should say, because they're called priests in this world. The priest there, he begins explaining to you, he's like, "It's a simple spell. It helps you recall images maybe you were unaware of before. It allows us to make sure that what you're saying is of utmost truth. It's very beneficial."
All right.
He's like, it will not hurt at all. It's simple, just speak of what you know, and we'll try and ask the questions to get you a little bit further so we can get an accurate description.
Okay.
He's like,
Just
"May
tell
Sigmar
me
be
when-
with you."
Thank you.
And he like escorts you into the middle circle, and he steps out. And then you hear like one of the other priests begins like chanting a little bit, and I need you to make me a charisma saving throw, please.
Chester's supposedly good at these. No, he's not.
Oh, he's not. Shit.
Okay. So
Get fucked.
the Zone of Truth spell has been cast upon you.
No, me and Farron are fucked.
The Zone of
Yep.
Truth spell, and I will read it because I didn't actually create it in the thing, but the Zone of Truth spell says, I will read this word for word. I suggest you take this very, very carefully. You create a magical zone that guards against deception within a 15-foot... There you go. Perfect. Vi has it.
Yep.
Look at that. Thank you, Vi.
She's probably even
You're
used this
welcome.
on me more than once.
Yeah, you should know
So-
what this feels like actually.
So you are aware that the spell has been cast on you, and the caster is aware that you have come under its effects. All right, so everybody is fully aware of the situation that's going on. So you cannot speak a deliberate lie while within the radius, and everybody, and obviously, like the character knows whether or not you have succeeded or failed on your saving throw. So if you had succeeded, they ostensibly would have been like, had a conversation, be like, you have to give in to the magic for it to take hold, that kind of thing. I know you're nervous, but you failed on the first try, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, you cannot speak a deliberate lie. And one of the individuals, the cleric you were talking to, he says, while you were in the lower, by the vault, you came into contact with, you said, 3 individuals?
There were 2.
2, yes.
And myself in the closet, of course.
Yes, that would make sense. 3, I see. So 2 individuals. Very well. And what did they appear to be doing while they were down there?
They were standing in front of the treasury door. I didn't see what happened to them after that.
He says, they did not enter the door?
No, they were just standing there while I saw them. But they shoved me in the closet after the door was already burned down. So I don't know.
Okay, I don't think you can say they shoved me in the closet.
Oh,
Because
that's true.
technically they
so-
didn't do that.
I was in the closet after the door was burned down, so I didn't see what they did.
Okay. So yeah, so he goes, yes. And what did they use to start the fire? Was it magic?
It wasn't magic. It was oil.
Good answer. Yeah, so I think he, like, you see the priest nodding, and you see, like, a scribe, like, writing all this down. And I think he says, can you describe the individuals for me? I assume you give them the description of Hannibal and Farron, right?
I do, but I only mention like hair color, eye color. I don't mention what they were wearing.
Lies of omission. Got it. Cool. Yeah, so you say, like, oh, well, one of them was about this tall, and, he had this color hair, and he would look like he looked Caucasian.
You can't mention
or
I
whatever.
specifically don't mention height because earlier I had said it was 2 very short people.
Okay.
So I don't say anything about their height.
Yeah. So I think that, man, how would I do this? Because I'm not sure they're going to be satisfied with that answer. I know how I'll do it. I know exactly how I'll do it. Hold on. I'm going to roll an insight check. And I think for you, can you roll me a persuasion check? Because you can't deceive, right? Like, but you're trying to convince these people that this is all you know about them, right? Perfect. 14.
Normally, if you're making a roll against a player, they can just use their passive.
Or they can use their passive, but I think 14 is probably higher than his passive because he rolled an 8, so you actually have higher than that.
Yes.
Let's see. Priest. I even have a character that says priest already. That's cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna use insight. Yeah. You convince them, and that's all you know about it. So it's good. It's good. They don't pry a lot farther, but they get a general description. Halflings, this color hair, etc., etc. And
I will tell them that one of them wasn't holding any weapons, or like didn't seem to be, because
Hannibal.
oh geez, Hannibal, yeah, he doesn't wield like a sword or anything, right?
No. I think all you have is daggers, right? And they're like underneath your cloak.
Yeah,
Right,
I
Hannibal?
have them hidden, like
Yeah.
in my person.
Yeah. So one of them didn't have any weapons, and the other one did. Because Farron, do you wear your you have a rapier, right? And you have a bow?
Yeah, I have a shield, rapier, and bow.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool, yeah. So you would have seen like equipped with that. Cool, yeah. And I think that the conversation goes on for a little bit longer, and they obviously with the Zone of Truth they get some things right, like it's impossible to disregard, but you do a really good job of speaking within it, probably because you've had practice, right?
So much practice.
As
Because
long as
why?
he doesn't mention the mask.
Right, and he specifically said he didn't, and he rolled that persuasion versus insight check was to see if they asked about the clothing specifically. But they probably didn't, because like you can change your clothing really easy. They were more looking for like physical description, right? So you lucked out. Yeah, I think that you do a fairly good job of evading the questions enough and seeming sincere about it. So at the end, one of the nights at the end of the spell's duration, which is 10 minutes, they finish the questioning, and the clerics have a better, or what they assume to be a better idea of what's going on, and the magic is released, and you feel that wash over you. And the one of the knights, they come and they bring you some water and in a water skin, and they hand it to you. I assume you drink it or whatever.
I take it very graciously from the knights.
Sure, yeah. And they say, okay, we're going to escort you to your room, and we'll have guards posted at all entrances.
Thank you. I think I've had enough everything tonight.
Oh, escorting Chester to his room has 100% fatality rate.
It's true, actually. So the three of them, once you've recovered well enough, they start to escort you back down the hallways, and that's about the time, I think, that you teleport into a room for Hannibal and Vi. Now I don't really know. I think I'm just gonna ask for a. I don't even know what kind of check this is gonna be.
Just a D20.
No,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? No, hold on. I'm actually going to make it an intelligence saving throw for Hannibal. And the reason I'm making it an intelligence saving throw is...
To see his memory based on
your memory, yeah. If you can remember a point that was somewhat unoccupied, like a room that was unoccupied throughout your searching.
All right, give me some hope, guys.
You're fucked, dude.
You're probably fucked. Oh, it's double digits. Oh, a 19's good enough. Yeah. So I think you do remember. You're right before you do it. You're okay. You're in your eyes are closed. You're trying to remember, and you find a room that appeared unoccupied, and you snap and you teleport in there.
Mm-hmm. Are there any acolyte clothes in here?
Well, no, it's unoccupied.
Shit.
Right, that's the trick, right? If you had teleported onto somebody, you could have knocked them out and taken their clothes, but in an unoccupied room,
By knockout,
not.
you mean kill.
I mean, Hannibal probably would not have killed him.
That's not
Vi
who I
might
was
have.
referring to. I think Vi would
So
definitely.
Also, Hannibal, you have a good potential of being recognized.
Yeah, no, I have a plan for that.
Okay, so you end up the two of you end up in this room, and you're together, and it appears unoccupied. Probably a thin layer of dust kind of explodes outward and is slowly falling because of the sudden appearance of humans.
All right, so
It's a weird feeling, probably, Vi. It's different from your blink, right? It's much different from appearing on the astral plane or the ethereal plane and then reappearing in the physical plane.
Sure, yeah.
So, all right, I'm gonna need you to help me a little bit.
Go
you-
on.
Could you lure one of the acolytes in here?
Lure?
Yes.
And then you will...
I'll knock him out. Or if you could just find me some clothes, that would work too.
I think that's probably an easier choice.
All right, I'm a size medium.
Size, like, in what universe? And
Right,
then
exactly.
out of existence.
In what dimension is medium a thing?
Yeah, exactly. So I think I would Cloak of Shadows and just start poking around this particular hallway.
So Cloak of Shadows. Cloak of Shadows is pretty
Actually,
cool. You're actually the most equipped probably to do this.
Show off that trick where you steal a man's pants without him noticing.
it's one of my favorites.
I mean, most of the time they notice because she wants them to notice, but yeah, totally.
Sometimes it's easier than taking the wallet.
Sometimes. Well, I mean, why not have a little bit of fun while taking the wallet? Right? I think that's the point, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Vi. That's how I see it.
That's what's happening for sure.
Okay, so Cloak of Shadows, so you can use your channel divinity to vanish. You go invisible until the end of your next turn. Visible if you attack or cast a spell. So, like, it doesn't last super long, but I'll give it a little bit of leeway since, you're going to use it to run around.
I also think kind of like going in and out of doorways, you can kind of like,
Yeah, for sure. You have enough
toggle
skills. Yeah, it's a toggle.
It's like toggled on and off.
Sure. Cool. Yeah. So you Cloak of Shadows and you go out and you're sticking to the shadows. The cloister area which you have appeared in, which you're lost, right? You have no idea. You're inside of the building somewhere, but you've never been here before.
Could I tell her where you could possibly get some clothes?
I mean, yeah, I assume
I imagine you would have said that before.
Yeah, I imagine you told her, like, hey, we're in the living quarters, so
just go to a room.
Right, go find another room. But I think that there's probably a point at which you will have to use a stealth check because you can't just go invisible because you don't actually have that spell because it is actually a spell. So go ahead and roll me a stealth check. It'll be lessened though because you have Cloak of Shadows and all that other stuff.
Okay.
But I mean, even if you get caught, it's kind of like you're already dressed. You could probably pull the same tactic that Chester did. However, you may not be as charismatic as him. Yeah, 18's good enough to avoid any detection throughout the hallways here. So you're going from like room to room and like you're maybe vanishing in and out. You're peeking through doorways. You hear there's a lot of like probably like you walk up to a door and you like put your ear against it and you can hear like muffled talking behind it. And then you go to the next room and you hear like muffled talking and you probably get to a room where you hear snoring. So you definitely like jiggle the lock so it opens silently and you open the door and you're like that moment where you're like it's not creaking and you're like and you get in there and you see that there's a man about Hannibal's size sitting sleeping in the room and there's a bed that's clearly empty next to him. And he's got like a wardrobe. It's essentially like dormitories in any college in the entire world, basically, where there's two beds, one on either side of the room. There's like a wardrobe for each of them, and there's like a desk for each of them. And one side is empty, and the other side has all this guy's stuff.
Okay, so I'd go to the wardrobe, very quietly pull a drawer out.
You're doing like the tippy toe.
Yeah, the stop and wait and listen, and then.
Yeah. Yeah, and you flip up the latch and you open it up and it creaks once and like you probably like look quickly at the guy and he just like and like rolls over on his side and continues to sleep. He wipes sweat from your brow and you pull out like a change of clothes, Acolyte's clothes, and you slowly latch it and you go back to Hannibal. And she gets back.
I would think I would take it, and then I would go over to the guy sleeping, and I'd whisper in his ear, "Thank you, darling," and then I would leave.
Give him a little peck on the cheek and leave. It's fantastic. He just incinerates because he's a man of the cloth.
I mean, whatever.
Well, I mean, okay, so Sigmar is essentially a barbarian god, right? Like, he made a name for himself being basically the Conan of this universe. So, in fact, men of the cloth of Sigmar probably don't have that restriction on them. That's probably not a thing that occurs. They're not like the Catholic Church. That's probably closer to some of the other ones, some of the other deities, but definitely not Sigmar. So, you head back to Hannibal, and you give him the clothes, and Hannibal, I assume you, like, pull him on, and you do with the other stuff, you, like, try and stuff them down in your bag or whatever.
Does the Acolyte have a hood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the Acolyte clothing has hoods.
I'd like to flip over the hood and take off my mask and put that in my backpack, too.
Okay.
While just trying to make sure that nobody can really see my face.
Sure.
Also, while I'm doing that, I'd like to use thaumaturgy to change my eyes to green.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to just assume Vi. How do you react when he takes off his mask?
I'm making sure she can't really see my face.
Yeah,
I would immediately though walk over and like take it off.
It would be impossible
like,
for you not to
too
reveal
much,
something, right?
Way too much temptation.
I'll message you what you see.
So there's like a little struggle for a moment of like Vi trying to pull off your hood, and like it's like a silent fight. If you ever fought silently with your siblings before,
yes,
where it's it's like, no, let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
yeah, I know.
It's that thing. But eventually she gets a revelation of the face. I don't think she'll react too poorly to it though.
All right.
Yeah, you send that to her? I was just making sure you send it to her.
Yeah.
So that she could react appropriately.
I'm eating some fried chicken right now. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that visual with what I just read that you just said. Ew. Okay, anyway. Yeah, that's exactly it. Anyway, I think that Vi would look at you and then just immediately redon the hood. And be like, just give you a tap, like, on the head.
Thank you. Now you see why I wear the mask, don't you?
No.
I do. Now, where are we going?
We're gonna head downstairs. Come on.
Okay, so the two of you head out. And Chester, you get to the staircase that leads upwards, and you see that there are two clerics, or two priests, and two knights at the top of the staircase. And the runes are actually glowing now. They're not, like, invisible as they were before. It appears they've casted a more powerful version of the spell that was originally there. And as the knights are leading you up, I think you feel a tugging on one of your hairs right behind your ear. And she's like, hey, I can't get through. I can't destroy it.
Chester won't say a single thing. Just kind of like grab the sides of his hood and like motion for the thing to get into the hood if it can.
Sure, yeah.
He can't see Puck, so
right.
Yeah.
So it gets in your hood, and you're walking on the staircase, and you pass over the rune, and your hood gets yanked off.
Ooh.
And as you walk through, you realize that, like, there was something in your hood, and then it was pulled off right as you went through the barrier, and ostensibly, like, yanked out of the... Probably, like, jerks your neck back slightly a little bit.
Yeah, I make this...
Right, yeah, exactly.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and they get up, and I think the knight, like, he looks, and he motions for the water skin again, like, if you need it again.
I nod and take it and take a drink, and then put my hood back on, look back.
And so I think he goes, okay, Acolyte, which one is your room?
I'm just gonna, like, try and, like, take the lead and just point, like, down this way.
Okay,
and just go ahead of them.
Yeah, I think that, like, one of them tries to, like, walk beside you as you do that, but the other two are, like, walking behind. And the corridors get a bit narrower. And Vi and Hannibal, make perception checks for me.
I'm also not walking, like, very fast. Like, I want them to keep up. So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Hannibal, I think you catch a glimpse, because it's probably more appropriate, right? Because you know what Chester's like wearing. Oh, actually, no, you don't. You didn't see him get the clothes or any of that nonsense.
No.
But I think you probably catch a glimpse of, like, somebody being escorted by, like, 3 knights down a hallway, and you're pretty sure it was Chester. And they walk down, like, an opposing hallway and disappear from sight.
I tug at Vi's arm and just basically turn us around.
Sure. So you guys...
Yeah, wordlessly, I just follow.
Yep. So you guys get, and you see that, Chester, you're probably, like, roll me a perception check, actually. I want to see how good you are at this. Because what are you trying to do here? Like, what's your goal? Because, like, okay, you don't have a room, right? Like, that's not a thing that exists. So how would you attempt to try and find a room, or what's your plan here with these guys? Because they're not leaving you.
I'm straight out just going to go to, like, the first open door I see that doesn't have a lot of stuff in it.
Sure, yeah. So roll a perception check. Oh, not good.
Or not.
Yeah, so I think that it's mostly that you're unlucky. Whatever path you decided to take appears to be, like, filled to the brim, all the rooms, and there's, like, guards moving back and forth, and after a little while, I think that one of the knights that's escorting you, he goes, Acolyte, the rooms are all full here. Which one is your room? Did you forget?
I'm sorry. I still must be rattled from earlier. I walked down the wrong hallway. It was just one further.
Yeah. So they nod, but they're like a little more tense now. Like, that was a little weird. Like, how do you forget where your room is? And you go and you walk down a hallway and you go down again, and I think that it takes you a while. And at that point, the knights are a little bit impatient and a little bit like, dude, it's just like, you literally live here. Like, why are you not just going to your room? Because, like, you probably have to, like, backtrack a couple times, and it's probably even funnier for Vi and Hannibal, who are, like, walking back and forth and then, like, have to duck into, like, a room as they, like, or, like, down another hallway while they walk by after doubling back on themselves. But eventually, I think you do find, like, a room that has probably a single individual in it and then one open, and that's probably the best you can do. And, like, you can tell, like, that you're at the point where you just gotta take what you can get, because the knights are getting, like, a little bit antsy, and, like, you've let them down almost every single hallway in the cloister.
At this point, Chester's just, like, laughing to himself at how bad he is, and trying to think of what he can do with the knights being so annoyed, and they probably just want to get rid of him at this point. That's what Chester's thinking.
Sure, yeah, that may be running through their minds. Definitely. So I think that you go in, and there's probably a woman in the room, and she's like a low-level acolyte, obviously. And she's probably, like, sitting on the bed, like, and the door opens, and she, like, maybe, like, jumps up and, like, backs up a little bit, and she sees you come in, and she kind of like narrows her eyes and looks confused, and then she sees the knights come in with you, and she like, her eyes widen, and she's very confused, but she hasn't said anything yet. And the knights kind of, like, so they do the thing, like, where they sweep the room, right? Like, they go and they're like looking under beds, and, like, they're opening up wardrobes, and they look under the desk, and they're like, one of the knights comes back to the leader of the group, and he's like, "It's all clear, sir. It's just the woman." And he nods, and he's like, "All right." And he kind of, like, takes a peek inside the room and puts his head back and forth, and he's like, "Do you not have any belongings, acolyte?" As he's talking to you, Chester.
I don't. I've only recently come to this chapel.
Yeah, he kind of nods, and he says, "Well, we'll try and get you some linens. It's surprising that you don't have any, but I'll send one of my men." And then he says, he's like, we'll be right outside. There will be one of us here, at least one of us here, all night. I promise the thieves will not get to you. And he, like, looks at the female acolyte, who's like backed into the corner of the wall, like, eyes wide, looking back and forth, like, really scared. And he goes, You too, ma'am. I promise they won't get into this room. I'll be dead first. And he goes out and closes the door behind him.
Very poor choice of words, my friend.
So Chester,
So it's just me and this young lady here, right?
You and this woman in the room, and she's just like back in the corner, just like eyes wide, just like staring at you because she doesn't know who the hell you are. And she doesn't say anything.
So, I'm gonna walk up to this this young lady here in the corner, stare straight in the eyes, and proceed to do the knocking out of this lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna just like unarm attack her. I don't even think you need to try. In fact, you probably pull your fist back and she just faints.
No, like Chester's walking up to her, staring her at the eyes, staring her in the eyes, and he gets right up in her face, pulls his head back, and just headbutts her, and she just
Overkill much.
Yeah, like I said, she probably actually just faints. Like
Oh,
immediately.
good lord. Hey, Jordan, you might want to disconnect for a second.
Why? Everything looks fine on my end. Is it robot-y? Ha 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 ha.
Super.
You-
Ha 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 ha. Alright, hold on.
Yeah.
How's it sound now?
Oh, so much better.
Okay. Discord's weird sometimes.
Indeed.
Yeah, cool. So you she faints before you headbutt her, but yeah, you headbutt her and she crumples to the ground. And do you like pick her up and like put her over in her bed and tuck her in?
I just put her in the bed, and then I actually go to the door, and I ask for a bucket of water and a cloth, saying that the woman passed out. The knights must have scared her.
Sure, yeah. And I think that one of them goes, and you see that there's two men outside your door, and another one is like left, and he's ostensibly going to go get that.
When they open the door, do I see like anyone else in the hallway?
I don't think yet, but maybe in a second.
Okay.
Hannibal and Vi, you see that he's been brought to this room, and you duck out of the way of the one guard that comes by, and you see there's two knights, and they're not your typical guards. It's obvious they're not your typical guards. They're clearly perhaps paladins of Sigmar. They definitely are not your city guardsman level individuals, and they're standing outside the door, like one outside, and one of them he pulls out like his longsword and he like checks it, and then he'll slide it back in, and he pulls it out again, and he checks it, and he'll slide it back in again. And the other one's actually got he's actually got a great sword on his back, and you see him just kind of like leaning up against the wall, but he's got like that coiled snake position, right, where like his eyes are like he's fiddling with something like in his hands, like his holy symbol or something. He's like maybe polishing it, but he's not paying attention to actually polishing. His eyes are just back and forth, being at attention essentially, but trying to look cool doing it. And it's in this narrow hallway with a couple other rooms and a couple other doors. And yeah, it would be real hard to just like walk up there.
I have a plan.
Okay, Hannibal, what's your plan?
I'm going to walk up there.
Okay.
But I'm going to be like running, like rushing, like out of breath.
Okay. Yeah, so you go running up there, and I think the guy that had his sword out, in one quick motion, like he pulls it out, and he's got it like in his hand. And the other guy, you can see he like as you're like running up, like out of breath. And Vi, what do you do when Hannibal does that?
Vi's like, what the? And I think she just like tries to make herself look as inconspicuous as possible and keep around the corner.
Yeah, so
Not reveal herself yet. Like she's not with him. I don't know him.
And then he just runs away. Yeah, cool. And the other one, he like you can see he's got his left hand like on a dagger, and his right hand's like getting ready to pull out his greatsword as you run up.
They found him. They found the feed.
Okay, yeah. So the two like look at each other and they say,
The Eldritch Wayfarer's dead.
You say Theo. Okay, yeah, that's gonna require a deception check.
Okay. Ooh.
Does Chester hear this outside his door?
I mean, yeah, he's somewhat yelling, right? I think at a 13, they kind of look at each other, and then they look at you, and I think they visibly like relax. And I think one of them probably just chuckles, and he's like, "Acolyte, have you been on the drink tonight?"
No. The Illustrious Wayfarer has been attacked. He's been attacked.
And I think that they look at each other, and the one that didn't speak before, the one with the longsword, he probably looks and he's like, "Well, a pity on that fool."
Okay, are they both? How close are they together?
I mean, they're fairly close together. They're standing like, they're standing like right in the same range as you.
And question: do they look like half elves or elves?
No, they're very clearly humans.
Oh, fuck that. I'm done with this.
Sleep?
Yeah.
You're gonna need a really good sleep spell, my friend. But I believe in you.
Not counting yourself in this range.
Ooh, 48 might do it. Let's see. They each have... No. However, one of them will fall asleep. So, I
That's all
think
we
the
need.
guy with the greatsword, like, he's, like, laughing, and, like, he leans back up against the wall, and, it requires verbal somatic, so do you, like... What does it look like when you cast that spell? Because, like, you can't just do it silently.
I just go, "Oh, fuck this. Force!" And then I just lift my hand up and just pink smoke just flies into their face.
Sure, yeah. So I think that, like, the guy with the greatsword who's, like, taking his hand off, he, like, goes to lean up against the wall, and then I think he just, like, you hear him collapse onto the ground. And the other one, I mean, he pulls out his sword, and ostensibly he's going to, try and attack you. Vi, you hear that,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, at that point, if I see this guy go to lunge at Hannibal, I would be like, "Oh, God," and I would step into the hallway, and then I try to polymorph him into a bunny.
Okay, yeah. So I think that, like, at that rate, we're gonna need to roll initiative to see who acts first.
Okay.
I don't think we'll need a map unless you guys royally fuck this up.
I mean,
Yeah, you never know. You could royally fuck it up. Who knows? Initiative.
Oh,
let me
fuck.
known.
We don't have character tokens. Hold on. Let me just.
They could just do a d20.
Just put him in like the bottom
Yeah.
left-hand corner of the screen.
Yeah, let's just roll.
Yeah, just roll d20s.
Good.
That's a thing.
Chester, I think that you'll be surprised this round because you probably weren't expecting it.
Yeah, of course.
I rolled a 10. Ooh. Yeah, so he acts first.
Uh-oh.
So I think,
Rip.
like, you hear him, and he's like, the pink smoke flies out, and he's like, "What the f-?" And he pulls out his sword, and he goes to slash at you. And he gets 2 attacks, I believe.
He gets one.
Hey. Rip.
Yeah, he gets 2 attacks.
No, he gets 1.
Alright.
Soon he'll have it 3, and then you'll cry.
That hits, but then I'm going to Misty Escape behind the door.
I believe you need to see the point you're Misty escaping to.
Can I check
Yeah.
real quick?
Yeah, I
'Cause
think,
the
I think you have to be
spell-
able to see the point.
Because it's different than the spell is.
Yeah, it's Misty Escape from the Warlock class, right?
Yeah.
I still think you have to be able to see the point in which you are going to.
Oh, in that case, could instead am I able to choose non-lethal fire damage?
I mean, yeah, so, like, if you don't try and burn his head, like, if you just try and cause him a singe, you know, if you don't try and pierce him with fire, yeah, I think you can choose to do non-lethal fire damage.
Yeah, the first one hits, second one does not.
Okay.
So I'm going to, hellish.
So, yeah,
rebuke.
you duck underneath, like, it's a narrow hallway, right? And that's where his disadvantage is. Like, he hits you with, like, maybe, like, the pommel in your chest as he's pulling it out, and then he brings it up and goes to slash down, but it, like, scrapes across the ceiling or something.
Yeah, then I'm like, you should have just went to sleep.
Actually, it's Vi's turn.
But no, that's
Yeah,
a
but-
reaction.
Oh, I got you. He gets a dex saving throw versus that. I
Yeah,
can do
and I'm
that.
going non-lethal.
Non-lethal
He fails.
fire damage.
Takes
That's a
10
wonderful
damage.
thing that I've heard of.
Yeah.
All right. He like probably shields his eyes as the fire like washes over him, but he's still standing fairly resolutely. Vi, what do you do?
I try to turn him into a bunny.
To a bunny. All right.
Pretty big
Cast
bunny.
polymorph. I get a save versus that? I assume, right?
Yeah.
Wisdom saving throw to. So this is wisdom saving throw, and what's your DC?
I think you said it was 14 last time.
What's your wisdom modifier?
It's not a 20.
Yeah.
No, it is not a 20.
Okay. So yeah, so you throw your magic and he shrugs it off. And you can see his eyes actually dart up to you, Vi. And he notices that like magic was used on him. And then it's your turn, Hannibal.
It's
Alright.
actually. Yeah.
No, Hannibal's turn, and then it's your turn, Chester. Essentially, you just get to go last.
I forgot about the hellish rebuke as a reaction.
Yeah, so I would like to back up away from him. I'm prepared to take that attack of opportunity.
Okay, yeah, he'll attack you. As he does.
This was just a simple in and out mission, guys.
So taking 11 damage so far. I'm still pretty good. And then I'm going to Eldritch Blast him, non-lethal.
Sure, yeah, you're trying to like knock him unconscious. It's force damage. Makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. Oh yeah, don't worry. We're gonna get to what you guys are doing.
And then could I also like push him like through the door?
You're kind of inside of the hallway. He'll get pushed down the hallway, like away from the door, at the very least.
Okay.
A 19 does hit him, barely, but it does.
Mm-hmm. And that's 12 points of force damage.
Yeah, he is still standing, but he's looking a little bit more concerned about his life right now. Not lethally. 15 does not hit him. You see the beam like bounce off his armor, and you hear a bong as it does.
Does that first blast push him through the door or no?
It pushes him past the door. Like he was standing outside of the door. Now he's 10 feet down the hallway.
So I'd like to also use the rest of my movement to back up away from him so that
Right.
he can't reach me unless he dashes.
Right. Yeah. You go back with Vi, right? So you guys are like standing shoulder to shoulder at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chester, what do you do?
So I was in the room behind the door.
Yeah, and you probably hear like Hannibal like muffled voices coming through the wall, like oh they've been attacked, and you hear him laugh and chuckle, and then you hear the oh fuck this, and then spell casting, and then Vi like chanting something, and then the sound of a sword like hitting walls and shit. Like there's clearly combat going on outside of your door.
I'm gonna open the door and look to see what I see.
Yeah, so you peek your head out, and like you see the guy who's been like knocked back, and he's got his hand on the wall, and he's got his sword up, and he's got like fire in his eyes, and he's like looking down, and you see Hannibal and Vi down at the other end of the hallway, and you see
You
like
don't know
both.
it's me.
Well, yeah, it's true. You see an acolyte, and what you can only assume could be Vi, because what else could it be? And they're like they have their like hands raised, and they're like throwing spells or whatever. And I think that the guy probably sees you, and he's probably like, get back in the room, acolytes. I will handle them.
All right. And Chester slams the door shut.
I just go, oh, you fucker.
Yeah. So I think that you see him. He pulls out his holy symbol, and he rips it like off his neck, like it's because it's on a chain like around his neck. He rips it off his neck, and he holds it towards you. And I have to cast Dispel at you.
Me?
Oh yeah, Hannibal, at you.
Shame.
Oh, he's in for a very funny surprise.
Is he now?
Because if he's thinking what he thinks will happen.
Spell level 1 is fine.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I thought that you meant dispel magic.
Oh no.
But yeah, that hits me.
Okay. So yeah, so he casts it at you, and this bolt of this white fire, like, or this bolt of white, like, light energy fires out of his holy symbol, and it slams you in the chest, and you probably, like, cough, like a little bit of blood comes out, because he's trying to kill you. He's not using non-lethal damage.
You could say that he's spitting hot fire.
Yeah, I would like to say, I'm trying not to kill you. You could at least do the same thing for me.
Yeah, and I think he looks up, and, like, you can see his eyes are, like, lit up with this fire of the fight. And he's like, the power of Sigmar will smite you where you stand.
Sure, calm down, preacher boy, alright?
And he starts like running at you, like trucking at you with his sword in his hand, going to attack you. But he can't reach you, obviously. You guys are both a little bit out of range. And then it goes to Vi's turn.
Okay. So, I think what Vi's gonna do is, probably mirror image.
Okay. So you get the and there's like 3 of Vi now, right? Or there's 4 of you now, right?
That double team action.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to try and just move like behind the wall, like the real one of me, so that he can't cast Guiding Bolt on me, because then he won't.
Yeah. So
how trying to like cast it on one of my
right?
minions.
Well, yeah. How mirror image works is like they basically are like these shadows around you, and they mimic your actions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I mean, like you can do that, but if he attacks you, you'll still have to make the rolls for mirror image or whatever. But yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
And that's it.
What's your health looking like right now, Hannibal?
Not great.
Great, perfect. Okay, so then as a bonus action,
is it a cantrip? Technically, you've already casted a spell this turn.
Yeah.
isn't Healing Word a bonus?
It is, but it is not a cantrip. In order to cast 2 spells on the same turn, you have to cast a regular spell and a cantrip. You cannot cast 2 level spells on the same turn.
Yeah, it's that hidden rule within like the spells.
Yeah.
It's...
Okay, and that's it.
Okay. Hannibal, it's your turn. He's charging at you, and I mean, you can outrun him, but also then you just kind of leave Vi hanging out.
Yeah, the Hannibal ain't about that life.
Yeah.
So I'm just going, God damn it, just go down.
Well, your first one misses pretty horribly. It probably hits the wall, like pings off of it. The second one hits, and you're going to push him 10 feet back again, I assume?
Yeah, then I'd like to move around the wall. Like so it's like a T sort of intersection, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It goes on behind you, but the where you're coming out of, you can totally hide around that corner.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Cool. And he takes 5 damage.
Yeah.
Well, he's a little bit bloodied now. Well, as much as he could be, because you're using non-lethal specifically. And that brings us back to Chester. You probably heard him run past the doorway. Do you do anything, or do you follow his orders?
Chester's actually gonna look out the door and see if the guard is still within sight.
Yeah, so you probably, like, you peek out the door, and, like, because there was a 1 rolled, like, an Eldritch Blast, like, flies inches from your face, right? And, like, you duck back in real quick, and you're like, holy shit. And then you peek out again, and you see him, like, running, and you see those 2 figures, they ducked into the side hallway, and he's chasing them. But yeah, he's totally still in sight.
Okay, but he's not looking my way at
all. Oh, no, God, no.
Okay, so I'm gonna stealth out and frisk up the guard by the door, see if he has anything I want on him.
So you just, like, creep out, and you're just, like, you know, frisking the guy that, yeah, roll me a sleight of hand check. I'll see what you can grab. Yeah, stealth. I'm not worried about stealth, but sleight of hand check. Yeah. 16. Yeah, okay. I'll let you know what you can grab off of him without waking him up. Because that's, like, the thing, right? Like, you use sleight of hand because if you had failed, then you would, like, go to grab something and, like, notice he was about to wake up, and you'd be like, okay, never mind.
Way in case you need to know, the way that the sleep spell works, you would only wake up if you used an action to, like, shake him awake.
Right. Yeah, I know. but he's technically
Okay.
using an action to
Oh,
search
yeah,
him.
yeah.
So if he had... I wasn't going to have him wake him up. I was just going to see what he could get without waking him up.
Okay.
Cool. And that's all you're going to do, Chester?
No, and then Chester's gonna get the hell out of there.
So you just
He's
start
gonna go
running
get
down the other
Frost.
hallway? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Alright. So...
And that involves like dashes, and he's gone.
He charges around the corner, and he sees you, Vi, and Hannibal. But he's probably going to strike out at Vi, because you
Go
have
for
like,
her.
all these illusions and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one attack. This is 19, so you got to roll your. It's a D20, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 11 plus.
Mhm.
I think.
11 plus, and then it's 15 plus, and then it's 19 plus. I forget how it works. 13, 15, 11, 13, 15.
I'll double check.
Something like that. Anyway, yeah, roll a d20 to see if it hits you or if it hits one of your illusions. It does not hit one of your illusions, it hits you. So you take the 11 damage.
Great.
Yeah.
LMNOP. I know the alphabets.
6, 8, and then 11.
Oh, so it does. Yeah, okay, so you're good. So it actually does hit one of your images. So yeah.
Oh, so it's the opposite? Okay.
Yes, it's the opposite, because it gets harder with less images, is how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he swings his longsword around, and it cuts off the head of one of your images, right? Leaving there only 3 now. 3 of you, right? There's 1 of you, and then 2 images.
I have them wave at him, including myself.
Yeah, sure. He just seems enraged, so he swings again. Missing, though. So you successfully enraged him by waving at him.
Fantastic.
Right. So then it goes to Vi. Your turn.
Okay, so there's, I think that at this point, let me check one thing really quick. Okay, so mirror image is not concentration. Just checking.
It is not. No, that would be silly.
Right, because I was just like, wait a minute, hold on.
That
can I
would
actually not do
literally be the dumbest thing.
this? I would never. Okay.
No one would
pass
ever
that.
take
Anyway.
the spell.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so then I would probably try to blind this guy.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm dying. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. We didn't like Hannibal anyways.
So it is a Constitution saving throw versus a 14, you said?
Yeah.
He did. There he is. Oh, he fails. Look at that. So what does it look like when you cast blind? I think it's the first time we've seen you cast that spell.
I think that he would get like the wisp of smoke, of like that dark smoke, that same smoke that you've seen when I healed people and things like
Right.
that,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like literally go into his eyes, and then you see his eyes just look like orbs of that smoke.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Yeah, you don't see his corneas or anything anymore.
Right. So it's like, so he had that, like, you could see like the gleam in his eyes from like fighting, and then they glow, then they go black. Right?
Yeah, they
and
go
there's
really
there's
dark.
like a little bit of
Yeah.
smoke, like maybe leaking out of the sides of his eyes and like rising a little bit. And you see him, he like puts his hand up to his face. He's like, get you! And he's swinging his sword around wildly. But he is essentially blinded, which means he's gonna have literally disadvantage on everything.
Would we also have advantage against Sam?
I think so. Yes. Let me look at the blinded roll. Blinded. Let's see. If you are blinded, automatically fails any ability check that requires sight. Attacks against him have advantage, and he attacks with a disadvantage. So yes, any attack against him, doesn't say melee only. Any attack against him has advantage.
So
Yes.
if I attacked him like right there, I would have advantage.
You
Yes.
most certainly would.
All right then. Well, I think I know what Hannibal's plan is.
Well, it's your turn. What is your plan?
I'm
Smoke him.
Just level my fingers, my finger blasters, my finger bangs,
That's
and just
gross.
go. "Ha-pa-cha-ha-la-pa-ha-ha."
Okay. Your first one still does not hit. Plate armor is pretty awesome.
Damn it,
However, your
plate
second
armor.
one does hit and deals him some damage, and he is not too happy about that. And he is very close
Yeah,
to
play
being...
it on.
Damn it! I keep on forgetting what I'm trying to do. Never mind. Just yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Chester, are you just going to continue running?
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
gone.
All right, so essentially, I'm just going to remove you from action economy at this point, just to speed
yeah.
things up a little bit. So we get back around to his turn. He's going to swing wildly at you, Vi, with disadvantage.
Yeah.
15, does that still hit?
Surprisingly.
So roll a d20. Need an 8 or higher for it to hit an illusion. Oh yeah. No.
Hey!
Yeah, so he stabs into the illusion like up against the wall, and then it just turns into that black smoke and disappears. And he lets out a sound of triumph. He's like, aha! And then disappears, and he's like, argh, and he spins around and tries to hit you again. That's gonna hit. So roll another d20. This one you probably
11.
don't want to hit the illusion if it's only a 4. Okay, it does though. He kills the other illusions. Now it's just you, Vi. But it is your turn.
But now you can murder hobo him.
I don't really think I don't know. Vi, I don't think wants to kill him at this point. I think she just wants to get the hell out of here.
And I think that you guys probably noticed, like, he
can't follow us at this point.
Right.
So I think that I would
Saving
turn,
throw.
yeah. So I think that I would turn to Hannibal after seeing him, like, trying to knock him out and just be like, let's just go. Clearly Chester's out. Let's just go.
All right, I'm fine with that. But
he does get to make a saving throw. You're right.
Does he?
At the end of his turn, he
Yeah.
can make an extra con save.
Okay. So actually, he gained.
at the end of its turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of his turn. So yeah. So he starts to like claw, and you can tell your spell is wearing off. And he like rubs his eyes, and he can see you again.
Oh well, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
we should have ran sooner.
so Vi, it's your turn.
Great. Well, now I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Blind him again.
I mean...
Or
hold
kill.
on.
Or knock him out. One of those 3 options.
I guess I would try to blind him again so that we can at least get the hell out of here.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make my con save. He fails.
Holy crap.
So yeah.
Wow, that would never work twice
So,
in a row.
so yeah, so he like rubs it out of his eyes, and he's like, now I see you, and you throw more smoke in his eyes, and he gets
I can just
enraged
imagine
again.
like my just like no.
Pocket sand.
Just
I just like snap and it happens again.
Yeah, you're basically just pocket sanding him.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. What do you do with the rest of your turn? Now, I will mention, he would not get an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So if I moved away from him
Yeah.
at this point, like
It would
I'd be
attacks of
right.
opportunity require you to see the target, and he
To see
cannot
them,
see
right?
the target.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. That's
Okay,
literally in the
so
rules
I would-
for attacks of opportunity.
Yeah, I would make my full distance step back the way we came,
Sure,
the way
yeah.
that I
Do
know,
you- do
because
you,
I
like,
wouldn't
grab-
go into a way I don't know.
Do you like grab Hannibal's arm and like, we need to go?
Yeah, I would grab his collar of his like cloak
Okay.
and be like, "Let's go, we're
I
done
like the
here."
way
Big
back
steps
to-
in the other
Bye.
direction.
Bye. It was nice seeing you.
Right. Yeah. You run, and he begins to trundle after you. All I'm gonna make, all I want you guys to make is just a stealth roll, and Vi, you can totally roll yours because yours is better because you're kind of leading at this point. Just to
Okay.
see if you can avoid him. Once he does recover from his blindness. Oh, that's pretty good. That's better than his passive. So yeah, I think you do get away from him, and you maybe hear him for a few moments, like raging up and down the hallways. But yeah, you're able to avoid him and get out, and you're headed back, and you're running back, and you dodge some other people to and from, and Chester, you dodge some other people, and I think that's a great place to take like a little break.
Yeah.
And then
Sure.
we'll and then I got some things for the 3 outside, since you all haven't been involved for a little bit.
Oh, brilliant.
This is not how I expected this session to go.
Yeah. Did you guys expect to like not be doing anything and just wait for those 3 to finish it up? Nah. Alright,
Well, one can hope.
One can hope, yeah. Let's be back at 8:20 Eastern Standard Time, so in 8 minutes.
Alrighty.
Sounds good.
TikTok, people.
Alright, guys. We're going to take a little break. Be back in just a few minutes. Enjoy the music once I get it up. And see you later.